this was a debate that your campaign wanted. You pushed for this debate at this moment. Obviously, I mean, you can't honestly say, I mean, can you say?
It was a slow start. That's obvious to everyone. I'm not going to debate that point. I'm talking about the choice in November.
Eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
I'm not going to spend all night with you talking about the last 90 minutes. Well, when I've been watching the last 3.5 years of performance.
What's going on, guys? So we got to talk about Kamala Harris, okay? A lot of people are speculating that Joe Biden's going to be replaced with Kamala Harris because there's no way to effectively get rid of Joe Biden and Kamala without the black women revolting, okay? The strongest voting bloc. They're really trying not to screw that up. In my opinion, there's nothing you could do to screw it up because I think that majority of black women will vote for Kamala Harris anyway, or excuse me, vote for whoever the heck is on the Democrat ticket anyway, because that's what the black women tend to do. Like literally, you can look at the statistics. Every single election, doesn't matter if they're black or white, male or female, black women vote for Democrats at a 90+% clip every single time. Doesn't matter. Any other details don't matter. If they got a D behind their name, then the black women love the D. Okay. So you had Donald Trump in this leaked clip, you know, act like it's leaked, but he actually shared it himself. Where he was talking mad trash about how he basically made Biden quit in the debate. He was like, man, I ran him off the stage practically. And he talks crap about Kamala Harris, saying she's so effing bad. Of course, people are calling this racist and all this stuff. At this point, just got to ignore these people. But here's the clip.
What did I do with the debate the other night?
Oh, amazing.
Kicked that old broken down pile of crap.
Yeah.
It's a bad guy. He just quit, Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's just so bad. So I just can't imagine. But can you imagine that guy? He can't. But they just announced he's probably quitting.
Good. Yeah, that's amazing.
Just keep knocking him out, right?
And Donald Trump is right here. She is that effing bad because there's no way that she stands a chance. Now, here's the thing about the polls. So there's some polls that are saying that Kamala Harris appears to be doing better than Biden in the polls as of today. But here's the problem with that. Kamala Harris hasn't really shifted in the polls. It's just that Biden has went so far down that now it appears as though Kamala is just kind of staying more consistent. So she stands technically a slightly better chance than sleepy, crooked Joe Biden does. But even that I'm a little skeptical about because Joe Biden won his primary originally and Kamala Harris was in the debates with him, and she did not win the nomination. She didn't even get close. Now, there's this speculation and this thought process that this lady, Areva Martin, has where she's debating Stephen A. Smith in a clip I'm about to react to, where she thinks that black women will revolt if Kamala Harris is removed along with Joe Biden. But in my opinion, as I said, I don't think that majority of black women in America stand on business as it relates to campaign promises and a lot of things as it relates to politics, because as you can see, Sleepy Joe hasn't really made their lives easier, but they're still supporting him anyway. So, and the orange man is still the bad orange man. He's still Hitler according to these people. So I really don't see the black woman just suddenly sitting out this election, voting Trump, not the majority of them at least. But let's just hear that straight from Areva's mouth.
First of all, Stephen, who are we agreeing? There's a long list of Democrats: Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer. The list goes on and on and on. You've named 4 or 5 people. Where is their consensus? You've got to build consensus, and there is not consensus right now. If you pick a white man over Kamala Harris, black women, I can tell you this: we're gonna walk away. We're gonna blow the party up. If you pick the black woman,
Where you gonna walk away to, Areva?
They're gonna blow the party up because of basically racism. Like, it has to be a black woman. I don't think that this is really the way to be. Like, I feel like if a black man isn't picked, or let's say I felt like they were bad, let's say Tim Scott, like let's say it was Trump and Tim Scott, Tim Scott, I think, is an awesome guy, but a boring guy. Probably a great leader, but he just doesn't work for me, right? But I wouldn't be like mad, like, man, they overlooked Tim Scott. I'm like, no, you got other people who are so much more competitive. Elise Stefanik, Byron Donalds, Vivek Ramaswamy. These people are like, well, because she's black. What if they replace her with another black woman? Would that help? Replace her with Stacey Abrams or something. That's probably the only thing that will satiate these people. But it's not about her race, guys. Kamala Harris sucks. There's a reason people are saying this. It's not because she's black that people think she sucks. Like, anybody who thinks that is seriously a pea-brain. It's the honest truth. Like, you try not to insult people on this channel, but if you really lack that much knowledge to where you don't even listen to nor care about people's criticisms of Kamala Harris, they don't say that about every black person, that every black person sucks. But to imply that you can't say that about any black person, otherwise be labeled racist, is just foolish. Let's keep going.
Where you gonna walk away to? You gonna walk away? You ain't gonna walk away to Trump?
Everybody over Kamala Harris. So where are we getting agreement from on who this ideal Democratic candidate should be? Tell me that. Nobody's told me who it should be. And then tell me how you're going to get the 4,000 delegates, which I am one of them. I'm a delegate coming from California. So who's going to step out? One, tell Joe Biden you got to step aside. Because everybody's not being mature about this.
He's not going to step aside. I just want to say that Joe Biden is a human being. It's about him at the end of the day, and him and his family, his legacy. So he's not going to do it. He might be forced out if people don't donate enough. Then he might literally start, running out of money or something, and they might force him out like that. But otherwise, he's definitely not going to willingly step down if the donors remain.
Process. Joe Biden is not just the president. There's a whole team of people. There's an administration. So
and they all about to be fired. They all about to be fired. I just want to make sure that's clear. Y'all all about to be out of a job. So y'all better start putting in y'all resume somewhere else right now.
Elected, which my prediction is that he will. He brings with him Kamala Harris, the most diverse administration in the history of this.
She still thinks Joe gonna get elected. Delusional.
So if Joe Biden, when he gets reelected, which my prediction is that he will.
What?
Full slap yourself 3 times.
He brings with him Kamala Harris, the most diverse administration in the history of this country. Y'all need to just stay the course. We got more black judges appointed under Joe Biden than anyone, even President Barack Obama.
That is not the point, because we're not, once again.
So she wants all black people just in the cabinets, in the staff. Like, that's basically what she wants. And to her, that equals diversity. So if somebody, let's say, doesn't agree with you politically, but they happen to be black, does that count as diversity, or does that just count as selling out? Like, how does that work? Because I'm black too. So you're just going to like remove my race because I don't agree with you politically or something? Because I don't think that we want to be governing by how many black people. Imagine we want to make it more diverse. So we get an Indian president, okay, like who, basically has Indian descent, born in America, Indian descent. Let's say Vivek Ramaswamy, he populates the whole cabinet and all of the staff with all people that's from India or Indian descent. Is that what we want America to look like? Because it sounds stupid when you say this about other races and ethnic groups. So why would you think it not sound stupid when you talk about black people? Like, well, we got to hire a bunch of black people. It's like, you got to hire qualified people for any position, people that work and fit those positions. It's that simple. Their race and ethnicity and all of these things are irrelevant to the conversation. But this lady is race obsessed, and the fact that she's one of the delegates, that's insane.
Hold on, Areva. We're not.
These are the type of people who have way too much power in this country.
We are not.
I don't know anything about sports, but I know you don't give up on your star player in the middle of a game.
Okay, excuse me. Time out. Let me explain to you. I can give you a host of examples of when teams have given up on a star player that has gotten a bit too old and beyond his prime. It happens in sports all the time, not just with coaches, but also not just with players, but also with coaches and also with executives. That's absolutely not true.
You tell
Bro,
me
what is
why
that?
Every Democratic primary that has taken place between the time Democratic primary started this year until today, Joe Biden has won those primaries. If all of these Democrats wanted someone other than Joe Biden to be the candidate on the ballot in 2024, they had an opportunity before June of 2024 to make that a reality. And I don't know about all those sports figures that's been changed in games. I'm going to take your word for that. But I bet you they weren't almost at the finish line when you decided, let's change them out. We are almost at the finish line. We have an opportunity to save this democracy.
Areva,
and I bet you blow up Joe Biden, you might as well give Donald Trump the keys to the White House and let him start ruling the country in August.
I mean, Donald Trump is going to make America great again. That's where you're mistaken, Areva. Is Joe Biden, who has all these crazy protests going on all around the country. Okay, they're also going on around the world, but they didn't have to be going on at all if, like Donald Trump said, if Iran would have been broke and wouldn't have been able to fund all of these freaking terror initiatives, this wouldn't even happen. To begin with, Israel would have been fine. Thousands of people would still be alive today. That's the most likely scenario. Okay, Vladimir Putin probably wouldn't have went after Ukraine. He might have stalled, delayed it until he got a weakling in office like sleepy Joe Biden. Okay, interest rates would be much lower. There'd be so many things better in this country. Inflation, prices. Why do these people, when they talk about Joe Biden, they talk about Donald Trump ruining the country, they ignore like every type of statistic they can possibly ignore? It's a bad thing to ignore interest rates and prices. How do you ignore that and then try to say this economy is great and Donald Trump's going to ruin it? It makes no sense.
Bob, and what we've seen in limited ability with Kamala Harris is that she doesn't have the ability to do it as well. Remember, she was the border czar. She was tapped by Joe Biden to fix our southern border, and she went down to the northern triangle countries instead of actually spending time on the southern border, actually understanding all of the implications of Joe Biden's reckless policy decisions when it came to security. She didn't want to put her hands on any of this mess. She's trying to stay out of the way, and also it appears that Joe Biden doesn't want her to be involved at all. There's real division in this White House. That's the way it appears to me. But the American people need to understand, whether it's Democrats all agree on open borders, they agree on massively overspending, they agree on being weak on the foreign policy front. None of those things are going to work out for the American people. Doesn't matter who steps up. They both need to be defeated this November.
I still say that Byron Donald should be VP because of the way he articulates these messages, VP for Donald Trump. And this guy knows that the issue is not just sleepy Joe Biden. This is kind of an aside. Like, it's fun to kind of poke fun at Joe Biden, Democrats, for having the audacity to try to gaslight us about this issue and ending lives. Like, you got drugs and human trafficking and people literally getting killed trying to do these crazy illegal border crossings. This is not a good situation. You got people getting killed in America, murdered by these illegal immigrants. Laken Riley, according to Sleepy Joe, Lincoln Riley,
an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal.
No, it's Laken, fool. Laken Riley from Georgia. Okay, like, this guy is an idiot. So, of course, we're going to point out the fact that he's an idiot, and the policies are also idiotic. Those are the problems. It's not just that he's sleepy and he can't speak. It's because the policies also suck. Kamala Harris can better articulate the sucky policies, but at the end of the day, the policies are what is really destroying America. Joe Biden's sleepiness, I don't think, is the issue in terms of the destruction of America. That just makes us kind of a laughing stock. It does make us look weak, but is mainly in terms of what's happening here on shore and on U.S. grounds is the sucky policies that need to be fixed. All this delusion that Joe Biden can still win and not picking Kamala is going to blow up the party. I mean, really, in my opinion, there's nothing that can save the Democrats besides a freaking meteorite coming down and blowing somebody up or something. Like, it would have to be something totally catastrophic to change the election results. Another pandemic, as catastrophic as that is not going to do it. Like, gaslighting and spending a bunch of money is not going to do it. in my opinion, this whole party is imploded. It's like a Democrat civil war at this point. They're fighting amongst each other. Should Joe quit? Should he not quit? We're in too deep. What are we going to do? What the F is going on? Nobody knows except people like us viewers here. We know what it really is. Joe Biden and the Democrats are cooked, and we're going to make America great again in November. It's that simple. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
Ain't Kamala Harris qualified? What if Trump says I don't need to debate again? And all we have to hold on to is what we witnessed last night. A brain fart within 3 minutes. In Van Jones' case for CNN, he looked like he was about to cry. What the hell is going on?